Hey everyone, today I want to do a review of this amazing book, Composition of Outdoor Painting by Edgar Payne. I know this book is sometimes hard to find. I think it's back on print right now, which would be easier, but it took me a long time to get a hold of one copy. So it's awesome to do a review here. This book goes way beyond a lot of the frameworks that you've probably seen. If you just search composition Edgar Payne, you get a lot of the frameworks that he's famous for and some of his artwork as well. But as you see, this book also touches on a lot of his philosophy about art making, which is in my opinion, the most important part of it. But I would say like 50-50, as important as the composition, but not just the frameworks. It's the idea behind how to compose an image and what goes in your thought process while approaching a topic. So it starts with chapter one, the approach to art. So the overall philosophy. So originality, talent and genius, freedom and expression, a position of influences, rules, and when to break them, their place and purpose, imagination and emotion impulses, and so on. So I think this is super important, and then goes into selection and composition, simplicity, unequal measures, rearrangement, preliminary sketches. If you've seen a lot of my videos, I talk about not going through composition enough when I'm approaching drawing. So this book, I constantly come back to it to inspire myself to sketch more, sketch simpler, and lock in the composition, the simple statement, as we've seen Nathan Faust talk a lot about this, and get the right structure before going in with any details. So errors in arrangement and some of the themes, hills and mountains, trees, clouds and marines, boats, and so on. Drawing mass principle. So if you follow Harold Speed as well, there's a little bit of a correlation here. Linear design, perspective, horizon line, vanishing point. So a lot of the things also that I've discussed in other books, Perspective Made Easy and how to draw and so on. Color and going into getting more and more complex as we go. Harmony, spectrum, uh, predominant tint or shade, the palette, rhythm, and I'm skipping some of them in here, but you can read it at your own pace. And then the types of composition that is going to be the frameworks that we've been talking about. So the balanced scale, the O or circle, the S curve or compound curve, the pyramid or triangle, the cross, and so on and so forth. We'll get to them in a bit. So yeah, I'll go through it really quickly. But one thing I want to really point out is that you have some of his analyses of paintings. They are black and white here, but they are colored images. So you should go look them up online, like this one, Blue Hills. You have blue hills, and here is black and white. I don't know why. I think for price and cost purposes, they went with the black and white. But the whole analysis, it should go with the black and white as well, because the value grouping and structuring is really important, but there is the color element to it as well that I don't remember if he emphasizes in this case, but some of them he might. So he touches on principles of repetition and so on. And each of one of those, like, we'll have a direct conversation with the topics that he's exploring throughout the book. So one more analysis in here, and you see a lot of them throughout the whole thing, which is already super interesting to get the names of the artists and the original colored ones and study a little more. You can discover some amazing artists, as I did going through this. So yeah, selection and composition, and you start like correlating both things. some artwork by Edgar Payne himself, the viewfinder, and more analysis, the preliminary sketches. And this is the bulk of the book, to be honest, these chapters. I'll go a little faster in here, but marines, clouds, and boats, and so on. And then a lot of like different comparisons. You start getting like the more thumbnail approach to it. Mass principle, more studies, outdoor sketches by Edgar Payne himself. And then you start getting some of the frameworks that you've seen online. Pictorial designs by European artists. So this is studies of artists and what kind of composition framework they are using. So this is super nice if you're doing your studies from masters. This is a great guide to it as well, and the philosophy behind how to do it and why to do it. So using more of this cross-hatching, beautiful work as well. Eco spacing, some of the don'ts, like things to be avoided in composition. But it's funny how like be avoided to some extent. It goes back to the rules, and when to break it, it comes with the artist's choice. So sometimes you can make use of this type of compositions to your to benefit, but overall they are hard to tackle. They can create a very stiff composition, so beware. But you can use them in some situations that might make sense. It's not always like rule of thirds and stuff like that that will make sense for what you're looking for in your composition. So ideas for alteration or selection, the palette, so significance of various items in the composition, various items in composing, improvised pictorial idea. So already going with the Steelyard balance approach, and I think this is the balance scale and the circle. And then you get like the types of composition and some of the suggestions for design and some of the more famous plates that you've probably seen all over. These ones, if you look up composition Edgar Payne, these are the ones that are gonna appear. So you can see that the book is way more than this, especially the written text that will give you the mindset behind all those frameworks that are almost like a summary of all the content you can find here. I think this is one of the best books on composition out there, especially from a landscape painting standpoint. If you go into more cinematography, I have done reviews on books by Marcos Mateo Mestre, Framed Ink 2, also by Hans Bacher, Dream Worlds, Vision, and so on. But this one for sure is a great one if you want to go into more landscape painting. There is also creative illustration by Andrew Loomis. I'll have links to all of them here in the description if you want to check them out. All covering specific things, but of course they have a theme that goes across all of them. And some colored pages to talk about color contrasts and palettes and all of that. Beautiful work, beautiful work. Super worth doing some copies here to learn from him. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this review. A great image to end it all. Have great studies. I hope you're inspired. Go ahead, do your compositions. The link for the book will be in the description as well. And yeah, that's it from me today. Have a great day. Take care. See you on other videos. Bye.